Welcome to the spoken tutorial on Java servlets and JSPs. In this tutorial, we will learn about web server, web container. We will also learn to create a simple Java servlet and JSP. Here we are using Ubuntu version 12.04, NetBeans IDE 7.3, JDK 1.7, Firefox web browser 21.0. You can use any web browser of your choice. To follow this tutorial, you must have knowledge of core Java using NetBeans IDE and HTML. If not, for relevant tutorials, please visit our website. Before moving on to servlets and JSP, let us first understand a web server. A web server is a system that delivers content to end users over the internet. It is also known as Internet Server. A web container is a component of the web server that interacts with Java servlets. It is also known as servlet container. The servlet container allows the servlets to execute inside it. Now, let us learn how to write a simple servlet. Switch to the NetBeans IDE. Click on the Projects tab on the left-hand side of the IDE. Earlier, we had created a simple project named My First Project. You can see it here on the left-hand side of the IDE. Let us now create a simple servlet inside this project. So, right-click on My First Project. Go to New and click on Servlet. A new servlet window opens. Type the class name as MyServlet. Type the package name as org.spokentutorial. Then click on Next. Click on Add information to deployment descriptor. We can see that the class name is org.spokentutorial.myservlet. We can see that the servlet name is same as that of the class name, which is MyServlet. Note that the URL pattern is the same name as that of the class name, that is MyServlet. We can change it to MyServlet path. Then click on Finish. The source code created by the IDE for myservlet.java is seen in the source editor window. We see myservlet.java is created in the package org.spokentutorial. Notice that the servlet is just like any other Java class, except that the servlet does not have a main method. Now let us learn something about Glassfish server. A servlet is deployed in a servlet container. We are using Glassfish as our server. Servlet container is a component of Glassfish that interacts with servlets. Now, let us come back to NetBeans IDE. Note that MyServlet extends HTTP servlet. At the bottom of the code, we can see HTTP servlet methods. Click on the plus sign on the left to view these methods. We see the methods doGet, doPost, and getServletInfo methods. We can override these methods. We can see that there is one more method named processRequest at the top. We will delete processRequest and getServletInfo methods to avoid confusion. So, we are left with two methods, doGet and doPost. For now, we will look at doGet method. doGet is the default method for any simple URL request. So, we will type some code inside the doGet method. We had already deleted processRequest method. So, remove the method call for processRequest method. Also remove it from doPost method. Now let us come to the doGet method. We can see that there are two parameters that are passed to the doGet method. One is the request and the other is the response object. Also notice that request is of type HTTP servlet request and response is of type HTTP servlet response. We will use the response object to send the HTML response back to the client side. For that, we will have to create a printWriter object. Notice that the printWriter class is already imported. So, inside the doGet method, type printWriter space writer equal to response dot get writer open and close brackets semicolon. Press enter. On the next line type writer dot println within brackets and double quotes welcome. Then press Ctrl S to save the file. Now let us run the servlet. So on the left hand side in the projects tab, right click on my servlet.java. Then click on run file. We get a set servlet execution URI dialog box. Click on OK. When the browser window opens, look at the URL. It is localhost:8080/myfirstproject/myservletpath. Here, my first project is the context name and my servlet path is the URL pattern that we had set. We can see the text welcome printed on the browser. Now go back to the NetBeans IDE. In the println method, we can pass HTML code. For example, put welcome in H3 tags. Now save the file. Since we deployed the servlet earlier, we need not run it again. The web container automatically detects it. So we can go back to the browser, refresh. We see the message welcome in a different format. Now come back to the IDE. Thus, we have successfully created a servlet. We can create any web application using servlets. We use the servlet to display an HTML code. Notice that we have HTML code inside the Java code. Even though this is possible, it is difficult to do so for large web applications, and hence it is not a recommended practice. It would be better to replace this using JSP or Java server pages. We will see the use of servlets and JSPs. Servlets and JSPs are used together to separate presentation from content. Servlets act as the controller and JSPs act as the view. Servlets contain HTML code inside Java code. JSPs contain Java code inside HTML code. We will learn more about these in the coming tutorials. Now switch back to NetBeans IDE. We will now create a simple JSP page. So right-click on My First Project, go to New and click on JSP. A new JSP window opens. Type the file name as welcome and then click on Finish. Click on the Projects tab on the left-hand side. We can see that welcome.jsp is under Web Pages folder. Now, in the editor, change Hello World to Welcome. Notice that welcome is within H1 tags. Now, save the file. Come back to the browser. In the URL after my first project type welcome.jsp. We see the output welcome. Therefore, for presentation purpose, JSP is preferred. Let us summarize. In this tutorial, we have learned about web server and web container. To create a simple servlet, to create a simple JSP. Please make sure that you have completed this tutorial before proceeding further. Watch the video available at the following link. It summarizes the spoken tutorial project. If you do not have good bandwidth, you can download and watch it. The Spoken Tutorial Project team conducts workshops using spoken tutorials, gives certificates to those who pass an online test. For more details, please write to contact@spoken-tutorial.org. Spoken Tutorial Project is a part of Talk to a Teacher project. It is supported by the National Mission on Education through ICT MHRD, Government of India. More information on this mission is available at spoken-tutorial.org/nmeict-intro. The library management system has been contributed by a leading software MNC through their corporate social responsibility program. They have also validated the content for this spoken tutorial. This is Arya Ratish from IIT Bombay signing off. Thank you for joining.